What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and this video is the Season 5, Episode 6 recap for Power. Join my fan club at patreon.com, Jaymoorereviews. I want to give a special thanks to all the people that supported me there. Without you all, I wouldn't be able to continue. And also subscribe if you ain't subscribed already. Let's get into it. We see Ghost, and he's sitting at Angie's house where we left off from Episode 5. And he's explaining to her about all the hurt that he's feeling, and he thought that he couldn't get any lower in life once he lost Raina. And he said, but I feel like I keep losing things. Things keep getting taken away from me. And Angie's sitting there listening, and she like, what do you want me to say, Jamie? And so he like, well, look, I wasn't honest with you. I spoke with Macedon, and I want to be a better man. And so I told a lot of lies and stuff, but some of the most hurtful and biggest lies were to you. And I just want to let you know that the reason that we broke up, it wasn't because of Tasha or the kids. It's because somebody threatened my life, and I had to break up with you to protect you. And so she's like, really? He like, yeah, it's just that I did that to protect you, and it worked. She like, you should have told me. He like, it worked. He never came at you, and he left you alone. I know I did a lot of things wrong, but I'm sorry, Angie. I know you don't have to forgive me. You just got to believe me. And so she walked past. She like, you can stay here, Jamie. You can stay on the couch. And so then she goes and getting ready to make the couch up for him. And then they kind of go face to face. And he thought she was going to kiss him, but she broke a right and bust out and went and got the stuff for the couch. So meanwhile, they both tossing and turning in their rooms, thinking about each other. Then once they wake up in the morning, she come with a new pilgrimage shirt on, ready to get on the Mayflower. He want to talk to her about what they were speaking about last night. She like, wait, I got to tell you something first. A knock at the door is, he say, ignore it. She opened the door. It's Tasha. She come in talking about what's going on. Then she turns and looks and see Ghost sitting on the couch. And he looking like, what in the world is Tasha doing here? And he like, Tasha, what's going on? And she asking Angie, like, what's going on? And Angie like, Tasha, let me explain. So they all three don't know what's going on. And he like, Tasha, what you doing here? Why are you telling Angie about what's going on? We can talk about this later. She like, Ghost, she knows. And Angie like, I already know everything. And so then Tasha starts going in, telling them about what's going on and how the police asked for the gun. And she like, Ghost like, Tasha, we don't have to tell her all of this. She like, she already knows everything. And he like, what do you mean everything? And she like, I already know everything, Jamie. It's okay. I'm on your side. I know that Tariq killed Rainbow. And so it's Tasha told me it's in the best interest that Tariq stay out of it. He like, so what, you two handling it? I mean, what's going on? We could try to handle it. She like, well, we got this under control already, Jamie. We already working on it. And he like, oh, so. And so Ghost said, Tasha, why didn't you tell me about all of this? Why didn't you let me know? And she like, because I couldn't trust you, Ghost. I couldn't trust that you would be able to make things better. I know you don't understand right now, but this is what I had to do to protect the family. He like, no, I get it, I understand. And she like, so what about Tasha's gun? What are we gonna do about that? We need to call Proctor. And then Angie like, Proctor's not a lawyer, and it'll be suspicious if she brings him. We need to talk and get our situation straight. It's gonna be a minute. And so Ghost, he's sitting there perplexed because he want to help, but he's pushed out. And so they looking at him like, to the left, my brother. Meanwhile, we see back at the office, Eartha Kitt announced J-Lo to the party, and Milk Dud saw him headquarters. He like, damn, she at the headquarters? And she like, yeah, we're here under investigation for the Raymond Jones murder. And so we think some corruption or something may be involved in this office to help cover up the murder. And so we would like your support. And then the boss like, yeah, just go ahead and help her and keep it confidential. So meanwhile, we see Dre, and he's trying to put together the pieces on what happened with Diego getting arrested. Because when Diego got out, he threatened Dre with saying he set him up. And so Dre's explaining to Alicia that Diego threatened him, saying he set me up with the gold gun at the stash house. I didn't do that. And she's like, don't worry. I know my brother, he's careless with his things, but we have a bigger problem. That's what Alicia said. She said, Diego said that he thinks Ghost and Tommy tipped us off to the feds. Why would he think that? I said, no war. I know how you think. You like to play both sides to the middle. Find someone else to play with. And so now Dre knows it's trouble. Meanwhile, we see Ghost, and of course, he didn't listen to Tasha and Angie. He contacted Proctor anyway to get his take and his information on what they should do. And so he's saying, hypothetically, Proctor, say somebody was murdered, and Proctor like, oh man, come on. He like, I said hypothetically, man. Whoa, what is the problem? He like, look, all right, hypothetically, if somebody was killed with the gun, you could always use somebody else use the gun defense that would work. But with all the heat and stuff going on around, it's not going to look good. He like, well, like I said, I'm not. My hands are clean. I'm not involved. He like, well, that's good. Who is it? He like Angie and Tasha. He like, how in the world does that happen? He like, well, what happened was, he like, you know what? Forget it. I don't want to know. He like, meanwhile, you need to try to stay clean as possible because the feds, they all over you right now. This actually work in your favor that somebody else is handling it if you keep your hands clean. Think about yourself. I know you can do that right now. And so he leaves and goes to sitting there and he's thinking about what's going on, and then he decides to pull out the phone and call Tariq. And Tariq sees it and doesn't answer the phone and goes to voicemail, so he leave a message trying to apologize for what happened the night before. And Tariq, he just pretty much ignores it. And then one of his roommates walks in and sits down, and then he looks and sees Tariq sit down that pill bottle he stole from his mama, so a roommate pick it up, and of course he saying, oh man, these are great, man. Hey, I used to get these from my sister. How much are they, man? Can I get some? And then Tariq's like, nah, man, they not for sale. And so the roommate like, come on, bro, how much, man? Let me get some. And he's like, nah, man, they ain't for sale. He like, all right, be like that, dude. And so Tariq, he's talking to him. He like, man, y'all already went to practice or whatever. He like, yeah, the roommate's got call of duty, man. You gonna come? He like, nah, not right now, man. And so the roommate leaves. And meanwhile, Tariq, he gets the phone, his burner phone or whatever, and he sends a text to Kanan. And he's like, yo, what's up? You come this way, Kanan. And so now he's trying to get that connection going. Meanwhile, we see Tommy in the alley in the car with his daddy, and they eating McMuffins. And so Teresi like, man, these still taste exactly the same. And so they sitting in the alley like, this is a great alley, but what are we doing? And Tommy tells Teresi, he like, hey, we looking on. I want you to keep eyes and look out on what's going on. And if you see anything fishy, you call my phone. He's like, all right, well, I mean, what are we going to see? Whose car is that? He's like, man, this dude named Dre. I'm going to check on his car. I'll be right back. And so Teresi, he's looking at the car. He's knowing the alley. He's just, Tommy is getting him too involved in everything, which is what everybody told Tommy not to do. But of course, Tommy doesn't listen. So he gets out the car, and he goes across the street. And Teresi's sitting in the car watching everything. Tommy goes over to Dre's car, which Tommy needs to get another ride because that ride is just so noticeable to be sitting right there. But Teresi watches as Tommy goes underneath Dre's car and plants the tracker. And so I don't know how they're going to explain how the tracker got off his car on somebody else's car. But anyway, we see Raymond Jones' files. We see Tasha. So she took his files home, and she's talking to Tasha, and she's telling her, hey, despite whatever may happen, then she gets the text from Tommy saying, turn it on. And so she checks her phone, and Tasha like, he won't leave it alone, will he? And she like, Tasha, that's not him. It's work. and it was Tommy. It was close to him. And so Tasha, she tells Tasha, I'm not sleeping with him, just so you know. Tasha, like, I don't care. She's like, okay, well, I'm just letting you know I'm being upfront with you. And she like, Angie, it's okay. I mean it when I said it, that I don't care. And so Angie, she didn't know what else to say then, so they started to move on and preparing her so that when she talks to the feds, she knows what to say. They all on the same page. Meanwhile, back at Truth, we see Dre and Councilman Tank, and they're talking about why are you here? And he like, yeah, well, Councilman Tank said he asked me to tell you to come. He like, well, I'm not gonna be here for him to be bringing all kind of stuff in my face, man. And I ain't trying to go through that. He like, man, I talked to him about that. But how did you all meet? He said you sell drugs. He like, man, what business was you trying to get with? He like the nightclub business, but he kind of messed that up when he did that stuff with the Bassett's. And so Ghost is coming down the stairs, trying to look all smooth. And so he come and talk to Councilman Tate, and Tate tell him that they're getting audited by the IRS, all the donors for the Queen's Child Project. He like, why is that? He like, it's typical for minority businesses, but it shouldn't be a problem unless there's a problem. He like, nah, Ghost said, nah, there's no problem. So Taint leaves. Andre was following behind him when Ghost said, hey, let me holler at you for a minute. And so Dre hesitantly stopped, and he's like, look, man, I'm not going to shoot you. Let me rap with you for a second. He said, so Dre comes back over there, and he say, look, man, I want to call a truce right now. And so Dre, he's like, a truce? I don't know, man, if I can trust you right now, man. All the stuff going on, you wilding out. It ain't in my best interest. And so he about to leave. And then Ghost like, hold on, man, let me talk to you. Saying, man, how about I make it worth your while? And Dre is like, what do you mean? He's like, well, how about I go and talk to the Bassett's and get that non-compete thrown out? And he's like, how you going to be able to do that? And so Dre is like, I don't know, man, we'll see. And he said, look, I want to show you an act of good faith, and I get that taken care of. I think we can do more together than apart. And so they shake up, and an alliance is formed. Meanwhile, we see Mock talking to Proctor's wife, and he's saying, hey, I know you're a cokehead. I can help you get your child back, but I won't do it unless you help me. What Proctor associate with his family members. And so she's like, oh, okay, what did Joey do now? And she said, well, he said under oath he no longer associates with him. And so I would like to know if that's true. Then he started breathing his hot breath down her throat. And so she had no other choice. Meanwhile, we see Dre at their little spot, stash house, and he's stressing over who's trying to set him up. And Urkel and Jerkel over here trying to talk to him, and he's saying, man, somebody shot up the Taínos, and he like, so what? And he like, man, what do you mean? This our organization? And Two-Bit laughing. Then he said, man, whatever, I don't see it that way. He like, look, man, where were you last night? He said, man, look, Two-Bit said, man, I don't know, man, why you trying to come at me like that? What, they need some more people or what? And Urkel tried to calm it down. Come on, man, can't we all get along? Come on, guys. And so right when he was trying to calm them down from fighting, we see Cristobal, and he got backup, and they walk in. And Jerkel was like, yo, what's up, man? We heard that we had a problem. And he said, hey, man, I don't know. My people dropping like flies out here on the streets, but we got another problem with the Connect locked up. And then that's when it was like, well, the connector, Jimenez, is already out. And he said, oh, man, I didn't know that. And he said, yeah. Trey said, yeah, but I found that out when Diego told me that somebody tried to set him up by putting a gold gun at a house. You know anything about that? And that's when Cristobal was like, nah, man, I don't know nothing about that, man. You tripping. And so he said, man, I don't know, man. That's your boy. I'm about done with him right now with all the stuff. And Drake's nose flared up with anger. And he said, nah, man, he ain't my boy just because we speak the same language, man. You want to run the streets, you should have learned Spanish. And so Dre getting pissed right now. And he's like, man, I'll come back when you calm down. And so they speak in Spanish, and Dre getting pissed because he don't know what they saying. And so they walking off laughing, speaking in Espanol. And so Dre, his nose just fuming with anger right now. And so they like, man, what's the matter, man? He's like, man, that dude trying to set me up to take my spot. They like, Cristobal? No, he ain't. He a punk. He like, nah, man, he trying to set me up and he trying to take over. He said, well, how you figure that? He's like, well, what did he just say right then? What did he just say? And so they like, come on, man, let's go talk to the Toros Locos. Meanwhile, we see Tommy and his daddy playing pool. And so he's asking Tommy about how's his business and stuff, which is very suspicious. And so Tommy and him start talking, and he say, I'll figure out something. And they get a knock at the door. Tommy opened the door. Ghost come in. Ghost can't believe Teresi in his house. He like, yo, what's up? He like, Ghost speechless. He ain't asking what he doing yet. And he's like, Teresi like, man, I'll leave. And Tommy like, nah, you ain't gotta go nowhere. You can say whatever you need. So Ghost coming like, hey, man, I ain't gonna be able to clean your money no more. And then he said, man, there's too much heat going on. And they're auditing my books. And then Teresi said, yeah, you can't mess around like that. And Ghost like, hey, man, I don't need backup. And so Teresi like, yeah, you right, I'll be back. And Tommy tried to stop him, but he like, nah, it's best I leave anyway. I need to go see Connie. And so Ghost makes sure he leave as he walks to the door. And so Tommy like, man, now I'm screwed, man. Jason gonna eat me alive. I don't have any way to clean the money. I don't have no network. I don't have anything. And Teresi's listening as he says that. And so he said, Teresi leave. And he like, now what I'm going to do, Ghost? I'm dead. And he like, man, I'm sorry, Tom. He's like, you're always sorry when things don't go your way. So now we see Dre and 2-Bit, and they come in to confront Arturo and ask him about what he knows about Diego. And so Arturo like, hey, Dre, what's up, man? And so they start talking, and he like, I was just about to call you, man. And so Dre, he's starting to think, oh, man, this dude full of it, right, when he said that. And so he like, so, man, what's going on, man? With the Jimenez locked up, what we gonna do? He like, hey, man, don't worry about that, they out. And Diego tried to accuse me of setting him up with a gold gun at the stash house, man. What do you know about that? He like, what? Stash house? He like, yeah, man, we gonna make you the translator now. He like, translator? I don't know if I should do that. He like, what? He like, yeah, man, about the stash house, man, I don't know, man. He like, what? You got something to say? You need to say it. He like, all right, man, look, man, Diego never went there, but Alicia, she always would go there. So now we see Sax Fifth and Big Mock, and they talking to Teresi, and he's telling them to leave him alone because you keep on trying to do these audits on every little piece of information, you're going to blow it. He told them to stay off of it until I get you the big one. They like, well, just remember it's too late for you to go back. And so Big Mock got him under control, and Teresi's scared. Meanwhile, we see Angie sitting in her car, and she's calling up Tommy, which was very suspect and suspicious. Tommy answered the phone, and she like, yeah, Tommy, I don't see anything. I'm looking, I don't see the car. And Tommy like, hey, who told you to call me? Maybe it's inside. Don't call me no more. And so she's still looking. She like, I see wholesale flowers. Maybe that's them. And Tommy telling her, don't talk to him no more. He get off the phone. And so now Angie, a private investigator, she over here taking pictures of everybody. Meanwhile, we see Tasha come back to the house. Ghost standing in the corner looking out the window. And she like, Ghost, we need to talk. The feds called. They want me to come in tomorrow. He like, look, Tasha, I'm sorry. She like, what are you talking about? He like, look, I apologize. I let you down. She like, I understand why you did this without me. And so Tasha, perplexed to not understanding this, and he like, I let you down. I had vows when we got married. I didn't uphold those vows, and it's my fault for letting this family down. I was supposed to be the one to protect the family, and I ended up being what you need to protect the family from. And so Tasha sit down and she's starting to feel sorry for him. And then Ghost is like, I just can't stop but feeling like it was my hands on the hand of that gun that killed our baby girl. And Tasha like, no, you stop it, Ghost. Don't go there. You always trying to make it about you. And he's like, what? She like, it's not about you. Graina, that is not it's always your fault. You're trying to fix everything, and that's not how it works. He says, I know it's going to take a while for you to forgive me, Tasha, but it's something that you're going to have to do. And she like, time? Oh, yeah. It's definitely gonna take time. And she said it like it ain't enough time in the world for him. And he like, well, look. So she gets off about to leave, and he like, well, look, Tasha, how you know you can trust Angie? She like, cause she still loves you. Meanwhile, we see Proctor, and he was at a restaurant with his cousin eating. And so as they leave, we see Big Mac, and I didn't know they served Big Macs there. And so he say, I thought you didn't associate with your family no more. And he like, man, what is this dude doing here? And so his cousin get in his face. He like, hold on, man. He ain't worth the nickel you get. He like, see, you still get good advice. Hey, you got 48 hours to get me that info. Meanwhile, we see Ghost, and he done went over there to talk to Angie, and now armed with the info from Tasha that she still loves her, he's saying, you know, Angie, you always been there for me. Why do you keep showing up for me and my family? She like, I don't know. And so he's like, well, Angie, you're always there for me. You've been taking care of me, my family. She like, is what you told me true? That you left because you love me? Because somebody was trying to kill me? Like, yeah. And so they get all close hugging or whatever, put little heads together. And then he kind of rub his little lips and slide them on there and get some sugar. And then right when they done kissing, he kind of get up and she like, how do I know I can trust you? He like, well, maybe if I show you I'm changed, it'll help. And so he gets up and leaves, and he want to be a better man. Meanwhile, we see Tommy. He get a knock at the door. He answer the door, and it's his daddy while he eating a big, humongous bowl of cereal. And he brought some ramen noodles. Tommy like, man, I normally eat something else. He like, nah, look. And so he pulls it out, and they cut out a little space inside the noodles. He like, man, we can get this in and smuggle it in the joint. He say, man, I got a pipeline already set up. You said you needed a network. Here you go. Tommy is the biggest idiot in the world if he does that. Meanwhile, we see Kanan, and he's at Choate to pick up Tariq. It's funny, he's been there to see Tariq before his parents. So they shake up or whatever, and he like, so man, what's up, man? This ain't no school, this a resort. You like it here? He like, it's alright. The food's cool though. He like, man, all these rich folks here, man. Man, what you got? You eating organic unicorn? He started laughing or whatever. He like, man, I bet you, man, they eating pills like crazy in here, man. It feel like Ghost of Century. He like, forget, dude, man. Let's roll, man. And so they hop off and peel out. Meanwhile, we see Ghost, and he talking to Councilman Tane, and he like, hey, man, I want to apologize for what my actions the other night, and I'm trying to turn over and be a better person. And so I want to apologize for what's going on. And he like, man, you know I ain't buying that, right? And he like, well, Ghost is like, well, how about I donate 50,000 to your gubernatorial campaign war chest? He like, well, that's a good thing right there. You sound, maybe you are a changed man. Money change everything. Meanwhile, we see Tasha, and she's waiting for the cops. Blanca's all happy to go and interview her, and Sax, he sees her go in. He like, ooh, I like her. And so she like, Miss St. Patrick. She like, I thought it was Detective Leary's case. She like, he's off today. So she goes through the paperwork. She's like, so you're the registered owner of a 380 handgun? She's like, yeah. And it was returned to you by your lawyer, Deletarius Silver. And then she's like, yeah, I didn't know it was in the box. I just put the box in the closet. And then with Raina's death, with everything going on, I just didn't have a chance to go through everything. She's like, well, if that's true, Did anybody see it? She like, yeah, Terry Silver saw it. She's like, well, if that's the case, he's very important to this case and the chain of custody of the weapon. Meanwhile, we see Tariq rolling with Kanan. He get a text from his dad. He ignore it. Kanan like, you good? We got to go back. He say, no, that's just my dad. I'm tired of him. He like, man, you need to get your own money. Like, I did, but I messed it up. He like, well, at least he got Ray Ray. Tariq like, what? He ain't do that. I did that. And Kanan like, what? You did it. And he like, yeah, I killed Ray Ray. And so Kanan looking at him like, this little brother right here. He's like, man, good job, man. You did good. And Tariq, he feeling reinvigorated. So they pull up at this little luxury little apartment place. Then the security let them in. So they roll in. This nice place with a swimming pool. We talking to this white dude that they was in the joint with. And he like, look, man, we need to do some adjustments, man. I had an unforeseen cost. He like, man, that's you problem. He like, nah, man, this ain't the joint no more. He like, you know what it is though? And he grab him, start beating him up, punching him. The dude take out the money, try to throw it at him, but it's too late now. They done unleashed the beast. He threw him into the glass table, gave him a 4-piece and the biscuit, bust his nose, gave him a snot buster for the roll. And Tariq, he kind of a little jumpy while he was watching it because he ain't never got the foo flops put on himself or put them on nobody. And so he know any day that could be him. But anyway, he gets the money, they walk out, mission accomplished. Meanwhile, we see Ghost talking to Proctor, and Proctor's asking him if he can hook him up with a little nose candy, a little booger sugar. He like, man, I don't do that no more. He like, well, what about Tommy? He like, yeah, Tommy should be able to help you. You should be all right. And so he getting it for his ex-wife. So we see Tasha still in the interview room with J-Lo, and she asked, do you know a Detective Raymond Jones? And so Tasha said, no, I don't know him. And so she said, that's funny. He was looking into Tariq's case interview statements. Then Tasha remembered that Angie told her to find out who they think did it so they know what angle they're going. And so Tasha said, hi, why would a police officer kill Raina? And J-Lo was like, I'm not sure, but we do think that your gun was used. And so Tasha's like, am I being accused of murder? She like, no, no, no. We think you know who killed Raina, and we think you know who killed Officer Jones, and you're being set up. And so we got Tasha thinking. Meanwhile, we see Kanan, and he's leaving from the spot, and we see the security guard. He like, let me check. We had noise complaints, and he like, I was just dropping off a paper for my teacher. And he's like, oh yeah, what's your teacher name, kid? And he like, Mister, and he started faking a little asthma attack. And he like, you okay, kid? And Kanan like, man, you got a brown paper bag? And he like, you know what? Just go. And so they pull off and leave. And so as they driving down the street, Kanan like, man, what the hell was that, man? Don't you know you get shot tweaking out like that? He like, man, your trunk riding low. And you want him to search it? He like, man, you don't miss nothing, boy. You good. He like, man, you got a good head on your shoulders, man. Just keep it up, man. Ain't nobody gonna be able to tell you nothing. Meanwhile, we see Ghost, and he's still talking to Dre. Then he say, man, I need a favor from you. And so Dre, he had to hold his breath on that one for a second because it's hard for him to trust Ghost. He like, man, I don't know. I knew that bastard stuff would come with strings attached. And Ghost was like, ain't no strings. I need you to kill Jason. And he said, what, Tommy's Connect? He said, yeah. And so then Dre nose swole with interest. He said, look, okay, if I do that, I need you to take out Diego Jimenez. And so Ghost of them kind of looked, gave a nod, and it was on. Meanwhile, we see Proctor, and he going to see his wife, and she's going to the meeting. And he's like, so why'd you tell the prosecutor, the feds, about where to meet, where to find me? She like, it's not illegal to have a drink with your cousin. You shouldn't have lied. He like, oh, okay. Well, here's your alimony check. She like, in person? Okay, thanks. And then she found some booger sugar in the envelope. She like, look, you bastard. And then she takes it and throws it at him. She like, I hope you go to jail now. I'll see you in court. And then she throws that sneeze at him. So J-Lo asked her, does she know Angela Valdez? She like, she sent us condolences. She's like, J-Lo's like, well, do you know why she would be looking into your son's witness statements? She like, no. Tasha's no. J-Lo says, well, the day that Raymond Jones was murdered, Angela was looking into the witness statements, and she also was checking into the files on Tariq and on your daughter. And so Tasha's thinking, she like, then she was the one that found the bullet hole in the wall at Raymond Jones' place. And so Tasha's thinking, and then she remembered when Angie said, I just left the crime scene. She says, Angie is the one that found the bullet. J-Lo's like, yeah, that's right. So we're offering full immunity because your criminal husband and the woman that ruined your life are setting you up to take the fall for this murder. All you have to do is say yes. And so everybody's looking, and then Tasha was like, my husband didn't kill Raymond Jones. And so everybody, Earth the Kid and everybody was all let down. Meanwhile, we see this van pull up, and we see Sammy and Teresi hop out, give Tommy a hug. They all happy. And Tommy and everybody, and Tommy try to apologize to Sammy about what happened. Sammy like, hey, don't worry about it. And so Tommy all happy that he got his little crew together. And so he goes to go get some more ramen noodles. And then Sammy like, man, I can't believe I let you talk me into this. He like, shut up. We're going to make a mint, and then we're going to turn him over to the feds, just like I said. Teresi ain't nothing, boy. Then Tommy come out with noodles, not knowing nothing better. He a wet noodle in his brain. Meanwhile, we see Dre, and he got Arturo at gunpoint, but they trying to pull a little slick move. And so Arturo is saying, yeah, Diego knows that you set him up and you planted the gun. And so then we see Alicia listening, and she like, oh, my God. And so she says, that all? And so Dre, he's like, yeah, that's it. And so then Dre let him go, and she get a cigarette. And Dre was wondering what she was saying, and he like, she just wanted a cigarette. And so then they go and talk. So Alicia asked Dre, did you know about these? And Dre's like, no, I just found out about it, but I got a solution. So she's listening. He like, look, Diego gonna take revenge unless he can't. Now, we can't do anything, or else because our hands are tied, but I know somebody that's going to take a move on Diego unless, want me to stop it. She like, why don't we just let this see how it plays out? And then we see Arturo sitting there, and she like, man, he wasn't loyal. And so they start busting bottles. They start popping bottles, bottle popping on his head and on his legs. He's screaming and crying. He done won the wet t-shirt contest, non-soaking. And Dre like, sorry, bro. And Dre smells that barbecue, that chorizo on the fire right there. And so next thing you know, we see Tariq, and he's sitting there studying. His boy come in. They talking about what's going on. You still studying? Tariq like, yeah. You still want them pills? He like, yeah, dude. You kidding me? Yeah. And so Tariq like, here. And so, like a dummy, Tariq, he just throws him the whole bottle, even though the dude was going to give him $20 a pill. Then he like, man, the whole thing? He like, yeah, Tariq didn't even take his mama name off of it. He always getting his mama in trouble. And so he take the little money, a pocket full of ones, like he was at a strip club. He's smiling, and he happy. And so first thing he do is get the phone out and send Kanan a text talking about the marketplace for pills is on fire. He gonna get kicked out up there. Meanwhile, we see Saks Fifth and Big Mock, and they're looking at the case, putting together what's going on. And Tamika was like, forget it. And Big Mock, he came with some more information, and then Saks Fifth was like, forget it. Eartha said it's over. She like, it's over. We don't have anything. And Big Mock like, what do you mean? We got all this case information. And then Saks Fifth sees some information, and so he goes and digs into something else. And she like, Saks, I told you it's over. And then he pulls it out. He like, you know what? Here's the ballistics report. Angela, she tried to bury the report. And so now Eartha looking at the two, and he like, yeah, so now we see Angela's a part of this organization. And they're so close, but so far off. And so Saks Fifth, Big Mock, and Eartha Kitt, they think they hot on the tail. And they're close, but they're not all the way close. And then she lays a picture of Angie down there with him. Meanwhile, Tasha come off the elevator pissed, and Angie wanted to talk to her. She like, all this time I was straight with you, Angie, and you been lying. She like, Tasha, I've been straight with you. She said, oh yeah, how come you the one that found the bullet hole in the wall? She like, You didn't tell me that. And Angie like, okay, I did find the hole in the wall. And Ghost like, that's true. She like, yes, but I didn't know it was from you, and I didn't know it would trace back to your gun, Tasha. How would I know that? Tasha asks, where were you when they questioned me about the gun? He's like, I was at Queen's Child Project getting drunk. And so Tasha, she's tripping. And Angie tells her, Tasha, they're playing you. They're trying to get you frustrated and upset and try to crack you. What, you need to ignore that. She like, really? Well, if that's the case, why did they offer me full immunity to flip on you two? And so Ghost needed to have a seat when he heard that. And she like, immunity? Who's questioning you right now, Tasha? And Tasha like, I don't know, some NYPD uh, chick. And she like, Blanca, they say it at the same time. And Tasha like, how did you know that? Wait a minute. I know how they after you. And Angie like, well, if you believe that, why didn't you say something? She like, cuz that wouldn't have helped Tariq. So both Angie and Ghost were telling Tasha, don't worry about it, we'll put together a plan. And she like, I got a plan. I'm going to have Terry Silver lie for me. Ghost like, Terry Silver, why would he do that? And then she getting all in his face, because he loves me. Yeah, he loves me more than you ever did. That's what she tells Ghost. And how does she know how much he loves her more than Ghost? And they just been together for a minute, and he don't even know her. And so Angie like, I think I need to leave. And she like, no, you need to stay, and I'll leave. And so Angie stays, and then Tasha ends up leaving. And so at the same time, this is all kind of hitting Ghost like, what? Tasha and Terry? And so he just can't believe that happened underneath his nose. And so both him and Angie are standing there as Tasha leaves, gets in the elevator, and breaks out after she just dropped that bomb on him. And so this episode had a whole lot going on, a lot of different angles, a lot of different scenes. It's a lot to cover. And I think one thing I'll say real quick is Tariq is a fool. He's continuously getting his mama involved and more drama. Now one of them kids going to get caught with those pills or overdose. His mama name on the bottle. I just think he's just a fool as always. And another thing, I think Ghost is going about it the wrong way with this Dre and Councilman Tate thing. I think that's going to backfire on him as well. And of course, we all know Tommy is the biggest fool in the world. Why would you not know that this is something wrong with a guy that was facing life in prison, and then he barely gets out by the skin of his teeth after 25 years, and the first thing he wants to do is commit crimes, help you do murders, or help you sell drugs, and he could go back in jail for life? Like, nobody would do that. That's not realistic. So it's obvious that something else is afoot. Tommy needs to wake up. In the end, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you liked the video, click that like button, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.